Benny, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
Everyone!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
No one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Zedos Gang podcast. After a little bit of hiatus, I'm back at least anyway. Sach and Neil and Ken from Creative Control have been taking over the reins here and there as I've been trying to sort out the mess that is life. And anyway.
That couldn't have happened at a more perfect moment.
Yeah, I'm leaving that in. Anyway, Zedos Gang podcast. We talk about films like what we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes.
Well, he talks about films. I talk about random shit like Wilco wipes, sponsored by Wilco. I'm chatting shit. Anyway, you were saying, Joe.
This is gag reel material here. As I was saying, welcome to the Zedos Gang podcast. Happy March, end of March, solstice. I think it was a couple of days ago. How's everybody?
All right, man. All right, living.
That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay, let's go straight into it. We're going straight into the trailers, and the first trailer on the list is
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Yeah, as Sach correctly says. What did you make of this trailer, guys? If you've seen it, that is.
Yeah, I watched it.
What did you make of it? How was it?
It's weird, right? So,
yeah.
I should love the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it is designed for me to love it.
Right.
And yet I felt underwhelmed.
Really?
But I think the reason I think I know why I felt underwhelmed. I think basically because watching the trailer, whoever edited the trailer, I feel like they literally just were like, okay, James Gunn's directed this film. Let me go watch the trailer for Guardians 1 and 2, and then that's what I'm going to serve up.
Right. Because
for years, right, since we've been doing, Zedos, since I've been part of Zedos Gang, for years, right, I've been saying many a times when we talk about Marvel versus DC that the Suicide Squad is designed to be the Guardians of the Galaxy of DC.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just watching that trailer, and I was just like, okay, so, is it not Patriot? Peacemaker, John Cena's character. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, so you're Drax. It was like Harley, yeah, okay. And I was like, Harley, okay. Harley, you're clearly the Rocket. Mm-hmm. Technically she'd be Gamora, but she's like, okay, you're the female Rocket / Gamora.
Why Gamora?
Huh?
No, nothing.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then like Idris's character, who I think is Blood Sport. He's like, I'm like, okay, so you're the male Rocket, or you're the male Gamora.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, okay, and Rick Flag, and I was like, oh, so you're Star-Lord, and it's just like you just fit, and everyone else is cannon fodder. you know, even like looking at the trailer, the way the music played in the trailer, the way the just the shots that they showed you, I was just like, oh, come on, man. I was like, I was like, obviously, I'm sure the film is going to be brilliant, but I was just like, this trailer's...
It's trying too hard?
Yeah, because I mean, it's essentially it's the first trailer, but I was just like, it's not for what it should do. It's not doing it.
It's not doing it.
I didn't see the strings. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm watching a show and I shouldn't see the strings, but I can clearly see the strings.
Okay, yeah, I get you. Sach, what did you think?
I see where Neil's coming from here. I did see the strings as well, but still, I enjoyed it. I get why. You know what? It's really funny because quite clearly, the first film was supposed to be a Guardian rip.
Yeah.
And they were trying to emulate James Gunn, and they failed. Whereas this one, they actually got James Gunn, and do you know what I mean? Like Neil said, you've seen the strings there. I don't think it was a bad trailer per se, but it didn't have that extra beat that excite me. Now, the thing that did excite me about it was King Shark. Okay, but the thing is with King Shark, yeah, I would have been more impressed had he not shown up in the Flash TV show. If you get what I'm on about.
Yeah.
Because the Flash TV show for me was like, oh my God, King Shark is in this. What the fuck? And fair enough, in the show, when they do bring him, his screen time's kind of limited, and you expect that from a TV show. But had this trailer had been the first time I'd seen King Shark, like, portrayed ever, I would have been like, oh my God, King Shark. There's one thing they should have done. One thing they should have done with this trailer, which would have made me excited, and I only got excited after I saw that. Not only was King Shark in there, but if they said and Sylvester Stallone as King Shark, I would have been hyped. That's all I would have been talking about.
But
you know what I mean?
Why does I understand, but
yeah,
I think the character should be sold on its own merits.
Yeah, I hear what you're on about, but then that, I guess that brings the prestige for people that don't know anything about King Shark. They're like, why is there a talking shark? You know what I mean? I would have liked to have seen more of King Shark doing funny shit, to be fair, but that's just me. No, I thought it was cool. I like the cast. John Cena looks pretty good in that role. It'll be interesting to see the rest of the cast, how they act with a decent script this time. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't hate the first film like a lot of other people. In fact, I quite enjoyed it, even though the villain was, like, humongously overpowered for them. You know what I mean? Like, I still enjoyed it for what it was. I'm intrigued to see what, a David Ayer cut of it, to see what they were supposed to do. Because we're hearing all kinds of stuff now with Zack Snyder talking about stuff, and I can see the look on Neil's face. He's like, yeah, damn right, I want to see that cut. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see, because I didn't necessarily hate the first film. I am looking forward to this one. So because it's James Gunn, obviously. So we'll see what happens. It's on my list of stuff I want to see this year. So yeah.
Well, that's I like that, your explanation, man. It's I think it was a very competent trailer. As someone who has been uninvested in DC stuff since Batman vs Superman, I really enjoyed this trailer. It felt exciting. I actually want to go see it. Instead of I don't have anything against Zack Snyder, but his world feels very heavy, and so with this, it feels like it feels very James Gunn. I'll say that it feels very James Gunn. It's very colourful. It pops.
Is it
Go on.
Yeah. It's not lighthearted, but it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yes, and I think that's the angle that Marvel has, is that all these people are taking the thing that is happening seriously, but they're not taking themselves 100% seriously, and that's where this trailer hooked me. You mentioned King Shark, so my first view of him was in the Harley Quinn animated show. And, and his character in that is hilarious because you don't know when he's gonna snap. when he does snap, there was a episode that I watched where there's a bit of blood. I think he's in a pool and there's a taste of a bit of blood. I think it's from Robin, and he goes nuts. He goes nuts, and he's just trying to kill everyone in sight. And just the rubber band reality that show has, I saw with King Shark in this trailer. I could be wrong, but I'm a very big devotee for the Harley Quinn TV show because it's fucking great. As again, I can't say anything more about this. The fact that I want to go see it means that loads of other people want to go see it. Who's felt kind of skeptical anyway, in terms of maybe not skeptical, but just had enough of the confusion of what the DC universe is now, because there's no thing that goes this film, then there's this film, then there's this film. It's just there's a film over here with a Joker in it, and there's another film over here with a different version of the Joker in it, and it's you
know what it is? It's like they put out so much stuff and then realize that they put everything out, and this is like, Warner Brothers were like, all right, we've put out so much stuff and we have no clear straight line. They'll be like, multiverse. Like, but like that'll save everything. But like, whew. We had that to rely on.
I mean, it's if DC were looking for a way out of a particular mess, that's Flashpoint, I guess, is one way to do it. But they've only got maybe 2 attempts at doing that. If they get the first one wrong, I don't think there'll be much forgiveness if they get it wrong twice. But anyway, Suicide Squad, I like the trailer. It's good. It's competent. Okay, let's move on. Guy Ritchie's The Man. Wrath of Man, even. What did you get? This came out of nowhere. I did not expect to see a film from Guy Ritchie for a long time, and we got Wrath of Man. I'll start with you, Daniil. What did you think?
You know what? It's weird because I was stunned on 2 separate things. Firstly, I was stunned because I was like, I saw. So there's a musician. I believe his name is Bugsy Malone. He's in He's in The Gentleman.
Oh, okay,
the guy, Gentleman, and he's in it. And he put up a social media post where he pointed out, he was like, like I worked with Guy Ritchie on The Gentleman, and I loved it. Like, I told my agent, if he calls whatever it is, I'm in. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's cool. And I saw that post, and then it was like another post, and I had a picture of Jason Statham, and he was like, I got to work with Jason Statham and Guy Ritchie and whoever else he named. And I was like, oh, cool, they're filming another film. It's going to be great, right? And that was it. Thinking like, maybe December, maybe January, there's a poster, February, there's a trailer, And then it was just like, oh, by the way, here you go, here's the trailer. And I was like, made it already? And it's almost like you can imagine, like, everyone's in shock thinking, Guy Ritchie, you made another film already? And he's like, it's a pandemic. What else was I supposed to do? Go fishing?
I like that.
in regards directly to the trailer, I was shocked again because I was like, this doesn't feel like a Guy Ritchie film.
No, it doesn't. It feels bigger.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, regardless of whether people think this is a good or a bad film, I'm like immediately reminded of things like Den of Thieves and what was that other film? There was Den of Thieves and there was another film, Armored.
Oh, okay, Armored, yeah.
Better than that. And I was like immediately thinking of those films, but then it had that kind of
Guy Ritchie feel.
Yeah, well, no, because I'm like, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew the film was directed by Guy Ritchie, especially when it comes up in the top bar and it says a Guy Ritchie film, I would never have been like, oh, that's a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. And I'm like, it feels like that kind of late, I want to say late 90s to early 2000s action film, but it's got like a certain crisper quality to it.
Yeah, it does. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
This seems like what James Cameron did to True Lies, if that makes sense. And when I say that, I mean, when you get a director that's an auteur, like a James Cameron that does sci-fi and with a bit of action, because yeah, sure, he did action movies. They were action movies with a little bit more to them in terms of their look and their scale. You know, Guy Ritchie's never really done an all-out action movie. So, Man from U.N.C.L.E. maybe, you know what I mean. But then, even then, you know, there
was a certain suave to it.
Yeah. So this trailer showed me that, oh shit, he's going in. You know what I mean? He's having a bit of I hope it's good because you know what? The Gentleman was the comeback of Guy Ritchie I felt he needed in a long time, you know. But I think he's always been there. He's just been experimenting and, you know, working with studios, building up relationships in the studios and doing their pictures and stuff. If you know what I mean, like Sherlock Holmes, you know, the studios wanted a Sherlock Holmes movie, so he got involved and he created something that could potentially be a franchise, or is a franchise because they're doing the third one, and so on and so forth. But with you know, and he tried to do the same thing with King Arthur, and that's what you do. You know, you try and experiment, you try and build up little money pits, little money holes, basically. And then he had a big cash cow in Aladdin. That was a huge cash cow for him. And not only was it a huge cash cow because he is doing the sequel, not that I care about that, but when I saw The Gentleman, it was like, that's why you did Aladdin. You're still here. Like, you never went away.
He's doing the Soderbergh thing.
Yeah, he's just, you know what I mean? So when I saw The Gentleman, you got to understand, the fire was reignited. My love for Guy Ritchie came back. I was like, bro, like, because you got to understand, when he went off and did Rock and Roller, that was a bomb. But at the same time, you know, he had nothing to really fall back on.
I love Rock and Roller. I really wish, because at the end of Rock and Roller, there's two more parts to it.
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
right.
to do those two parts.
Yeah, but you know what?
All the other films were about.
Yeah, but you know what? There was a thing with him during the pandemic. He rewatched Snatch for the first time in a long time, and he was watching it and he was live streaming, and then he calls up Jason Statham halfway through the live stream and actually video calls him. It's like, bruv, I'm watching Snatch. He's like, what? He's like, when's the last time you seen it? He goes, I haven't seen it since release. He goes, you need to watch that film, bro. And then he starts talking about how, you know, he had got ideas for a Snatch 2. And the reason why it never happened is because, you know, he was young and he wanted to try different things. And he was like, I'll get to it. And he's still not sure whether he wants to do one or not. But, you know what I mean? There are plans there. He's got a notebook of ideas on where those characters are now. So I was like, oh, man, you're telling me there could be a Snatch 2? I'd watch that film in a heartbeat, man. But
if they bring Brad Pitt back as a pipe.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you have to. You have to bring One Punch Nicky, man. Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Like, that's the Guy Ritchie I was looking for. So, you know, when I heard that like Jason Statham was in this and they were re-teaming, I'm like, I'm in, because fair enough, at first glance, if you don't know it's a Guy Ritchie film, you just think, oh, another Jason Statham action films. And you got to understand with Jason Statham, he's very hit and miss in his action films, and it's not down to him, it's down to the script and whoever's directing. But you put in Guy Ritchie directing a Jason Statham action film, I'm interested. You know what I mean? I want to see their chemistry on screen explode the way Schwarzenegger and James Cameron did with True Lies and Terminator and all of that. They're a director-actor pairing team that have been apart for too long, and I really want to see what they do. Is he writing this film? Because if he's writing this film, then I'm even more interested. So
sure.
I'm just checking it now. IMDb in the shit out of this. Now I know why we have Ken, because Ken's quick on his fingers with this shit, isn't it? So,
well, yeah. While you're looking at that,
yeah,
I'll go to my likes of the trailer. It reminds me of it. It's like a bigger budget version of what he does regularly. Because if you I've watched the trailer a couple of times, and there's there's a lot of British cast in that, and they all speak Guy Ritchie. they all talk Guy Ritchie, and I do like that element to it. It's gonna make the film uniquely interesting.
Okay, he's co-written the screenplay. So basically, it was a screenplay that was already there, and he's basically done the rewrite when he joined to direct. I'm interested. Also, it stars Scott Eastwood, Jeffrey Donovan, and Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett's got work. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Hartnett was in a TV show for a few years. Yeah, the
Paradise Lost and Die Hard recently with John Travolta and Kevin Hart.
That's not what I was talking about. It was Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Penny Dreadful. Yeah.
But I think that guy's just been cautious ever since Lucky Number 7.
Yeah. Well, that was a good film. I quite enjoyed that.
But again, I just think his career after Pearl Harbor, it kind of went sideways.
I don't know. He had a few big hits after Pearl Harbor.
Like what?
You know what it was? It was the expectation
of Josh Hartnett.
No, not of him. I think of everyone else. Everyone else had a certain expectation of him, because if you look at Pearl Harbor, he was. I mean, if I'm remembering it correctly, he was alongside Ben Affleck, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if you look at it, the two of them, they kind of do have that very kind of Americana, like, rugged charm to them.
Yeah.
That you should be in certain roles, you should do certain films, and I think Josh Hartnett, he didn't really kind of take those main roles.
Yeah.
Like it's quite expansive, because I mean, he did 30 Days a Night, he did The Guardian, he did
Black Hawk Down, Sin City, Wicker Park.
He did a lot of films where he just expanded his range, and it's sort of like the catch-22 of being pigeonholed. Is you're pigeonholed, it can be really good because you could, if you're pigeonholed like Matthew McConaughey, you can just bang out rom-com after rom-com and then go and do what you want once you know the money is safe, and it's like, no matter what, I can make a film, it bombs, the bank is good.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing, though, about rom-coms, though, because as an actor, I'd imagine. Well, if you look at how McConaughey did it, it didn't matter that he was the leading man. He could have been the best friend in those films, which he did. He did whatever was the interesting role in the rom-com, got his name on the poster, and did that for a long time, made all the money he could. And then what he did, he took a price cut and started doing those low-budget indies. And the minute he did the Lincoln Lawyer was the beginning of the Reconnaissance, and then you had Joe, and then like True Detective, and he had all
Lions Club.
Yeah, all these films back to back, taking a pay cut, and then eventually, like, you know what I mean? He was on the up and up, man. He just, he could afford to do that. Not a lot of actors, they don't think that way because they always want to better themselves. Sometimes you got to, But anyway, we've deviated completely. But back to initial point with Josh Hartnett. Yeah, you were right, Joe. Lucky Number 7. That was the turning point, because after that, I've not heard half of those films. Whereas Pearl Harbor was kind of like, that was a big hit. Even though it was like a massive flop,
still a hit.
It was still a hit in a way for him, because a lot of people were looking at him to cast him in a lot of stuff, So, Anyway.
Okay, what's next? Did you finish your review on the trailer?
Yeah.
just
it's a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, which is going away soon. No, it's thumbs down. That's going away soon.
Yeah.
Okay, Spiral from the Book of Saw. Okay, what did you guys think of this, Neil?
I was kind of intrigued by the trailer up until like the very last scene, and in the very last scene, I was like, "Well, I don't need to fucking watch it now, do I?" Right, because that last scene in the trailer, it was just like one reveal too many. Right, because you guys saw the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a No, go on, carry on.
I mean, look, so we saw the teaser trailer that came out months ago, right? And all we knew was people were in it. We knew that Chris Rock is in it, and we knew that it's a continuation of the Saw franchise in somewhat semi-rebooted form. And they were like, okay, cool. It's good. It's interesting when you get to see, Chris Rock, who is predominantly a comedian in a very serious role.
Yeah.
And it's like, I genuinely, I really enjoy it. I've said it many times. I enjoy it when you see someone who's a predominantly comedic actor doing a serious role, because 9 times out of 10, they smash it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yep, it's going to be great. And in this trailer, it was the same thread, okay, but now we're getting to hear character names. Now we're understanding relationships between characters. And then at the end, they were like, "Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Here's the money shot." And I was like, "That wasn't the money shot. That was the take money shot."
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll let Sach go before I go. Sach, what do you think?
I saw loads of spirals in it. I saw Chris Rock looking younger than what he should be. He's looking great.
Yeah, boy.
Good to see him in films again. I like the fact that it's a detective thing. I've never seen Saw. I haven't seen any of them.
You've not seen Saw?
I've not seen any of them.
That's not like
not seen any Saw.
Wow.
So I didn't understand what was going on, other than there was a spiral thing and then loads of spirals, and he's trying to look for the spiral. And I was like, cool, you go find those spirals, and I want to see it. But I've never seen Saw, so it's always been on the list to go watch, but I've just never gotten around to it. I think it's because, here's the thing, I don't do horror that well, okay? Joe knows this, okay? So when it comes to horror, I kind of miss a load of stuff, unless, like, I go in a big group of friends and then I go watch it. And the thing is, horror movies for me, I like the old school. When I say old school, I like 80s and 90s horror, where it's tongue-in-cheek joke horror.
Saw is the equivalent to what
Scream,
kind of mixed between Scream, Friday the 13th, and
I would say Saw, the first one at least, is like the first one to, I'd say the first 3 films.
Yeah.
Are like 7.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's 7.
That's all I need to know. I'll check. I heard the first 3 were great, and then it goes downhill after that.
Yeah,
but
because they kept making money. You know what happens to franchises like that keep making money.
Yeah. So that's just it. I'm kind of like, you know what? Between us guys and the podcast, I'm going to be working on a short film. and I picked my good visual effects guru friend Delan about this short film that I'm doing, and I want to bring back comedy horror, where it's just jokes. You know,
That's a load of them.
Yeah,
I know, but
still getting knocked out.
what? Really? Okay. Well, I need to get on it, man. Someone send me a list of really cool horror films in the comments below, and I'll give them a check. So yeah, or maybe not. I don't know. I need to have a friend to go watch them with because I get scared easily. So I remember there was like a trailer Joe showed me for VHS, I think it was, and that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I've only watched.
Not comedy horror.
Yeah, that is not comedy
Even
horror.
a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that film, bro. But yeah, the Spiral film, I'm in with my lack of knowledge of the Saw franchise. They were talking about a jigsaw thing or whatnot. I take it they got to solve a puzzle. How big are the jigsaw pieces? I don't know, but I guess I'll come and see what the hell that's about. But yeah, go on.
Satch, do you remember the character?
This is the most least informed I've ever been on the podcast about anything, by the way. But when I do watch Saw, I'm sure I'll be blown away. But anyway.
Satch, do you remember the character in 24 in season 2? The reveal of that character near the end. Of the mastermind.
Oh, the old guy at the football stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all
I remember.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I can't remember what he looks like though. So
No, you will.
24 season 2 was like years ago for me, maybe a decade ago.
It's 2 decades ago.
Is it 2 decades ago? Fuck. Yeah. Well, there you go, man. It's wow. Shit. 2 decades ago.
That's how ahead of time that show was.
Wow.
I liked Spiral. It looks like it's backdooring into something. I won't say what. Would I be right in saying that, Neil?
Yeah, I imagine. Like even when looking at certain things of it, and I was just like, when you see certain things, and it's like, even just looking at the title, I was like,
yeah.
You better not.
Yeah. I see what the reason we're being cryptic because we don't want to spoil it for anyone else that may have not figured that out or doesn't even know what Spiral is. All I'm saying, there has to be a cameo by oh my god, what was his name? Oh god. Never mind. If there's a cameo there needs to be a cameo by a specific character. That will make this like the Fast and Furious films. But I'm intrigued. Color me interested. Okay. Next, we have Without Remorse. And this is a Michael B. Jordan film based on a Tom Clancy property. What did you guys make of this trailer?
It was cool. It was serviceable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird, right? I don't know if I'm getting like dejected or like if I'm just kind of like, you know, becoming numb to certain films. Like, I mean, but I feel like it's just like it's the best way I could say it is if this film came out 15 years ago, it would probably have been Denzel in the role.
Oh, Denzel.
If it came out 20 years ago, it'd have been maybe either, if not Will Smith, then maybe Wesley Snipes. Like, you can just see him going down the line, and I'm like, you know, some of the lines were a bit corny. Like when they were like, "They better hope he's dead," because you know, he's the best. He can do what no one can.
Yeah.
And we're like, listen, Like I saw Arnold in his heyday. You sure he can do something that nobody can?
Thing is, you know what it is. You know what it is, though. You just nailed it there without even knowing you nailed it there. Okay, action movies nowadays, especially mid-range action movies, which back in the 90s were big top shelf shit, it's just a dime a dozen these days, and you don't give a shit. And the trailers all look the same because they're like loud noise, dish, dish, dish. You know what I mean? I miss movie trailer voice. I miss like certain soundtracks they'd put to those trailers. I miss.
It costs
oh
money.
man,
it costs money.
Yeah.
That's why
is that why?
The reason why you don't hear other composers' music in trailers anymore because of the licensing and the money and
right, okay, but there's trailers for that type of film were done a lot better in the 90s, and they had a certain feel to them. You know what I mean? Like I can still remember the Face Off trailer. Okay, I could still remember, and that was a trailer. That was a fucking trailer. Just that the shot that isn't in the fucking film, where you've just got Sean Archer, John Travolta, those people that don't know. You've got him sat in the chair, and the camera pans a whole 360. And obviously, when they get to the back of the head, they zoom in a bit close, and then they cut to Nicolas Cage, and then when it does full circle, you hear the voice change and stuff, and then it's just a complete edit bombardment to the music of like some of the best explosions and fucking, you know what I mean, everything you want to see out of this damn movie, and you're just like, I'm in. You know what I mean? I'm fucking in. Even Speed has one of the greatest trailers for an action movie of its time, man, with the slogan, what do you do? What do you do? And it's like, done.
Where's that?
Yeah, and it's just like I look at these trailers now, and we've reviewed them on the podcast, and it's just run-of-the-mill action movie of the week. The last low-budget action movie trailer that got me hyped was Machete, and that was a fake trailer for a fake film that ended up being a real film eventually, but the Machete trailers were a billion times better than that. But different type of film, yeah, for sure, but better executed trailer. You know, what do I know about the main character in this movie other than he's Michael B. Jordan on the run? That's it. You know what I mean? Just looking worried and shit. At least we got more out of those trailers about who the actor is, who the character is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's just boring, man.
I see what you mean. I think this. I mean, it's got Tom Clancy's name on it, so
yeah.
Whoever, if I'm guessing this is based on a book.
I tell you what though, the scene where at the end when he jumps into the car when that was good. That piqued my interest there. But aside from that, it just looked like normal trailer, next trailer since yesterday, like the old guard. You know what I mean? It just looked like the old guard. How I felt about the old guard and it's just standard bullshit. But I'll check it out for B. Jordan. Jordan's cool.
It's based on a novel, so I think this will capture the Tom Clancy fans. Word or I mean, Tom Clancy's
definitely.
Name.
Definitely. Definitely.
Rainbow Six video games and the things that he's done.
Yeah. It's loaded. I mean, it looks like Amazon is the place where where Tom Clancy's stuff goes now, because what's the other TV show that's on there?
Jack Ryan,
and that's actually good. So in this regard, I guess there's a place for it. It does look it doesn't look. It looks like, do you know when we used to watch films in the movie theater and you get the trailers, the trailers that you don't care about, the trailers that you talk through? This is one of them.
Oh yeah, totally. The trailer did nothing for this film. I hope the movie's actually okay, because I like Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, like you said, the Tom Clancy name kind of sells, and because it's based on a novel, maybe there's more to it than standard screenplay of the week. But weak trailer. You know what? I just want Michael Bay just to churn out like action movies like The Rock again, because
hasn't he? He's made like 2 on Netflix or 3, hasn't he?
He's only done 1. so
right.
far. He's probably doing more at the minute, but it just feels like a long time since I've seen like a action movie director explode shit on scales that I've been like, holy shit, this is why I go to the movies. You know what I mean?
Like you really that dynamite.
Yeah.
Well, again, yeah. I will go into that conversation another time. Go.
You know what that is? And I didn't really think about it until now that we're sitting here talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the trailer was?
What?
It was a racial swap of the Punisher. Aegis Top is like, okay, if you know, it's a Marvel what if. It's what if that Castle was black.
Right.
Without remorse. That's what you got. Right?
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Even when I was thinking about it, because when we were talking, and you mentioned about the him getting in the car when the car's on fire. Like I loved that bit because I thought, all right,
agreed.
Like who really is. You've taken everything from me. I've got nothing to lose. I don't care. Let me show you how much I don't care. I'll sit in this burning car with you to get the information. And I was like, cool. Who does that remind me of? And I was like, Frank Castle. Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, considering the last iteration of Frank Castle was a John Bernthal?
Bernthal, yeah.
Bernthal,
yeah. Like, considering he was the last Punisher, I'm like, boy, anybody going on that one-man war to avenge his, you know, like, the death of his family, boy, you got a lot to live up to. Big shoes to fill.
You know what? That is the one character that I really want kick-ass action film of, the Punisher.
Yeah. Well,
done right. They fucked it up 3 times, so
I want the Punisher directed by, I think, is it Gareth Edwards?
Oh
yes. Okay. Oh man, dude, yes.
Okay, I like Gareth Edwards, but he's been outclassed in that match by Chad Stahelski and David Leitch.
I would say so.
I don't know, man, because you know what? I put it this way: The Raid is like probably one of the most watched films I've watched in the past like 5 years, and I do own it. But when it was streaming on Netflix or even on Amazon at one point, because I knew it was streaming, it was always on in the background. I like it was always on in the background. I've watched that film probably about 80 times now in the past 5 years. I fucking love that film.
I like The Raid as well. What's Gareth Edwards done lately?
Oh, he's done what's it? Oh shit, what's that film? Fuck. He did a really sick film recently. Let me just bring it up. Carry on talking while I do this.
Well, yeah, it's going to sound controversial. I think comparing them, looking at the Raid 1 and 2 versus John Wick 1, 2, 3,
different animal.
I think they're different animals, but I think personally, I think I like the Raid more.
Me too.
Me too. Especially with.
And I love John Wick. I love John Wick. I love what those guys have done with John Wick. And I love their style of action, no doubt, because they redefined action movies in a way. But the Raid just had this rawness to it that you wouldn't normally get in movies. Okay, so Gareth Edwards. Okay, he's done something really bad. Called Gangs of London. Don't get me wrong, the fighting's good in it, but the actual show itself, like, I'm not really. This is my personal opinion. I'm not really into it because Londoners don't talk like that. I'm just saying.
Here's what I'm gonna say about that. I was actually, you're right, but all I would say is Gangs of London isn't great if you're from London. If you're not from London, Gangs of London is chef's kiss.
But
you're from London, it's just like,
mate, no one talks like that, mate. Like, fucking hell. It's like if it was written by an American, and it's like, what the hell?
He was probably writing it for Americans.
Yeah. Maybe, but oh god, I just couldn't watch it, man, because of the dialogue was trash. But yeah, no, but I liked his movie he did after Raid 2 called Apostle. It's very different. It's not martial arts and stuff. It's like a 19th century kind of film it's like a murder mystery kind of film. And, you know, you're watching it and you don't even realize, like, if you didn't know he directed it, you'd be like, okay, there's nothing that puts it apart to the Raid. And then at some point in the movie, you're like, oh, it is directed by the same guy as the Raid. There's like a turning point where you're like, so that's his style, if that makes sense. There it is. And it's a really good film. I recommend Apostle to anyone. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix. It was on Netflix for a long time, but it might not be now. But it's a really good film.
Okay, well, I'll each their own, man. I do like Gareth Edwards, but David Leitch and Chad Stahelski, they're my heroes of cinema at the moment.
You know what? I have to stop, right? This is my fault because I'm the one who said it first, right? It's Gareth Evans.
Gareth Evans.
Yeah, Gareth Edwards is Rogue One. Rogue One.
Godzilla.
Yeah, Godzilla. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
That's on me.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's quite funny, actually. Anyway, next up is the Bad Batch, Star Wars: The Bad Batch, on Disney Plus. We don't normally talk about TV shows on this. We do occasionally, but
or by accident.
Yeah.
I assumed there would be an audience for this, even though I'm kind of jaded by Star Wars at the moment. But this does look good. What do you guys think?
Sash?
Loved it.
I love the each handing the reins. Yep. You talk about Star Wars. You talk about Star Wars. No, you talk about Star Wars.
No, loved it. I loved it because here's the thing. I know, like, the Bad Batch themselves in the Clone Wars cartoon, they show up for one episode in the final season, and you know, I know a lot of people were expecting a bit more than what they got because obviously, like, they hyped them up a little bit more. A little bit more, like, before the final season of Clone Wars come. And the reason why there was so much hype is because there's so much stuff that hit the cutting room's floor of the final couple of seasons of Clone Wars. Because what people don't understand is that when Clone Wars ended, when Disney bought the company back around season 5, they released season 6, but only 12 episodes of season 6 that went directly to Netflix. And when that happened, obviously the rest of season 6, was still available, like, already completed. And the rest of the Clone Wars, at least 2 seasons worth of Clone Wars, were either in animatic form or they were in storyboard form. And the Bad Batch was one of these episodes that just needed a render to be finalized, and there were more episodes with this ragtag crew that had a story arc and whatnot during the context of the Clone Wars. And obviously when Disney renewed it for 1 season, which I think is a big mistake, they should have done it 3 seasons, and who would have benefited? The fans, you know what I mean? And they would have got their numbers, you know what I mean? And it would have cost them next to nothing. But they decided to wrap up the Clone Wars in 1 season, and they did so, and they did so well. But they shortchanged the characters off the Bad Batch in that episode because they just shot for 1 episode, and you either liked the episode or you didn't, and people were kind of dismissive because they were expecting more, and so they should have, because there was going to be more of a story to them. Well, guess what? And bear in mind, George Lucas created these specific characters with that specific story arc. Enter this trailer, enter this series, and if it's more stuff from the original creator based on his character and his work, I'm all in for. And because it's just after the Clone Wars as well, we're in an era where we're still kind of in an era of the prequels, and I think there hasn't been enough prequel love in this current generation of Star Wars, and I think that's good that we're getting more prequel era stuff because, you know, there was some good shit out of the prequels, good environments. It had a certain, you know, certain planets had a certain look. It brought something new and fresh, and that's what I got from this trailer. And you got something old as well. I mean, it was great to see Grand Moff Tarkin up there, or Admiral Tarkin as he is in the show, because he's not Grand Moff yet. And the other thing was Saw Gerrera when he was younger, and if you see him, they've got him in the trailer. He's a little bit older than obviously he was in Clone Wars, and he's a little bit more battle scarred, so obviously he's been on some adventures in between Clone Wars and now, and slowly becoming the guy that Forrest Whitaker was. I'm intrigued if he's in there a lot more in the show. And there's characters that I thought were dead but clearly aren't dead because they're part of the Bad Batch, and I'm like, boy, I'm in. I'm in. I'm liking this show. It kind of had an A-Team kind of vibe to it, and you know, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
So I surprisingly liked the trailer. It felt like it looked like Star Wars, but it felt like something else, and so I don't know what that means for Star Wars. I don't know whose fingers. I know George Lucas. This is his. He's got his imprint on this. Yeah, that's the only thing I can say about it. Really, it looks good. It does look good, and I'll stop right there because I don't know what else to say about it. Neil.
I only have one. Like, I mean, it's Star Wars, so I'm going to watch it. Like,
cool.
You know, I'm not even gonna entertain the lie that I might watch it. No, I'm going to watch it. Right? It comes out May 4th. Right? Like, I book holidays from work on May 4th to watch Star Wars. Right?
Nice.
I'm gonna be watching this thing. That said, there was one thing I did not like about this. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the fact that the main character basically looked like Rambo in Star Wars.
yeah, it did. With
that headband, I was like, come on, Doc. That was my only issue. Was like, homie looked like Rambo. I was like,
What? Well, yeah, he did look, because that was the first thing I thought. This guy looks like Rambo. Maybe that's what they're supposed. Maybe it's supposed to be.
That's probably what they were doing.
Yeah,
that's probably exactly what they were doing. You've got to understand. It's Dave Filoni, and when it comes to Dave Filoni, he loves his popular culture, and if he could put it in there in a way that like you get away with it, he would. And you know, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a First Blood reference, man.
Okay, that's the end of the trailers. On to the main news, and first up we have Sylvester Stallone reveals that he's working on a pitch for a Rocky prequel series, and I'm not sure. Okay, how do you guys feel about the prequel Rocky series? It's like the Rocky universe is expanding quite astronomically. What do you guys think?
I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. Nope.
I mean, it's been developed by him. I mean, he did write. Did he co-write Rocky?
Yeah. No, he created it himself.
Okay, so Rocky is his. It's totally his.
My outlook on it is in regards to when we see things and we're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, but like, it's by the original creator, Frank Miller.
Okay, I see where you're going.
When he creates stuff, it's like, wow. Not everything that his name to has been chef's kiss, right? Just like, yeah, I'm just like, when I look at Rocky as a franchise, and I mean literally start with Rocky, end with Creed 2. Mm-hmm. I'm like, the character is perfectly written, perfectly everything. Even if you take, oh, well, you know, well, Rocky 4 wasn't a great film, or Rocky 5 wasn't a great film, or even whatever, like, you can pick whatever film that somebody wants to say they don't like and they don't think it's a great film. Me, I'm like, yo, Rocky 1 through till Creed 2. But I'm like, all you can do, really and truly, all you can do is diminish the character.
Right.
Because, like, there's nothing about, like, you just going back to Rocky 1. And let's remember, Rocky 1, that's the Oscar winner. Rocky 1, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to see what happened before that to know the depth of the character of Rocky Balboa. And anything you show, I genuinely feel like all it's going to really do is turn into like soap opera.
Right.
Because it's like, it's not gonna, it's like, okay, you know where they say, like, you can't polish a turd?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, like, you can over polish a shield. You can over polish a trophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
When that thing gets so bright at, like a one beam of sunlight and you can't see no more,
mm-hmm.
maybe you should stop.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, Rocky is undeniably one of the greatest characters of the 20th century.
Mm-hmm.
Without question, one of the greatest. Easily top 50. Easily top 25, right? Of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this will diminish that, right? Seeing him, because, it's going to be the thing of you're going to start trying to connect dots that had no connection. And then, maybe it's going to be like, like, is there going to be an early Apollo Creed fight? Are we going to see him win the championship? And then maybe at the end of the 10 episodes or whatever it is, it's like, oh, okay. So he sees Creed win the championship and he's like, that could be me one day. And then suddenly it loses the whole wonder, the whole mystique of the underdog story of, here's your underdog who he was given one chance, sorry to quote 8 Mile, but it was, he had one shot and he took it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I feel like anything showing what came before, it's not good.
Right. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah. Sach, you need to unmute your, I guess that's, I think that is true. I mean, it's I think it's like a George Lucas thing as well. He even said recently, he said, he knew it was going to be unpopular, but he wants to make them, and who can tell him no? No one. And
but here's the one difference with that. Watching Empire Strikes Back, just that film, and then seeing the reveal, I am your father.
Mm-hmm.
That automatically makes you want to go and find out what made you go from being Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You give me one piece of dialogue, one shot, one frame in any Rocky movie that makes you say, I want to see what happened before this.
Mm-hmm.
What made you turn into this?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I hear you. Satch, what do you make of this news?
Well, if it's bullshit, then no one would talk about it because it's a TV show and not a movie.
Sorry, everyone talks about TV shows.
Not okay. How many people know the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles? How many people know those things? Did they diminish that first movie? that Harrison Ford's prestigiously in, called Raiders of the Lost Ark. In my opinion, the best out of all of them, because Indy is a badass in that movie. He's not a joke. He's a badass in that movie. When you first meet Harrison Ford in that movie, you're like, damn, this is the guy. This is the hero. You know what I mean? If I'd watched the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles first, I probably wouldn't think that way, but you wouldn't watch that first. You'd watch the movie first. You'd watch that first. Same with Rocky. You'd watch that original movie first, and then maybe you watch a TV show. But if the TV show's good and stands on its own 2 feet, then it's a win all round. However, you know, if this was a show made by MGM or Sony or whoever fucking will get the Rocky rights in eventually, because let's face it, that's basically what this is about. There's a streaming war going on. MGM are selling their rights, quite obviously. And hey, if he is involved in the next iteration, it's better he's involved with something. Here's what I got, than some heads at a studio trying to fucking find a formula to, you know what I mean, fuck it all up. Anyway, I'd much rather Stallone fuck it up than somebody else. You know what I mean? Because at least he's done it his way. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I do agree with Neil about the dangers of that. But at the same time, you know, there are certain rules. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why I'm afraid of the Obi-Wan series. Exact same reasons, because you don't really need it. You don't really need it. I could think of a way of a story how that story would work, because I know what I'd like to see, what I'd like to avoid. You know what I mean? And you've got to understand, Sylvester Stallone knows his own universe because he's writing it. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? It's not MGM being the force behind this. This is Sly. You know, I don't think you'll get him versus Apollo for the exact same reasons Neil mentioned. You do, however, get him show up at a fight where Apollo is the opponent, because it's in the synopsis. He doesn't come up with the idea of being a boxer because of that fight. He's just looking at that fight and he thinks that he's a good fighter. That's it. It's his It's his stepbrother that's like, well, I don't see what's so special about this Apollo Creed. You know what I mean? That I don't think that takes away from it. It does add to the fact that I didn't know Tony was his stepbrother. Tony's the loan shark in the first one. That's something clearly added, that Sly's added. But at the same time, I could buy it that he's a stepbrother, and you know, I could buy that he gave Rocky a job when he was, you know, when he had nothing. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I'm intrigued. I'm not excited. It's like how I feel about the Obi-Wan TV show. It's like, you know, unless it's done, you know, a certain way, we'll see. I'm not totally against the idea, but I get why people are concerned. You know what I mean? I totally understand why people are concerned, because Rocky as a franchise is a beloved franchise. He's a beloved character. A character, I might add, that people are just discovering today, believe it or not. Like, there's a lot of people, younger people, quite clearly, and even people of our age that never really cared for Stallone or his movies, or always thought that, you know, it was one way. They're being introduced to Rocky through Creed, because Creed is the new thing. Or, you know, I guess because we're in lockdown, people are looking at YouTube React videos, and people are doing Rocky for the first time and actually going on that journey of like watching all the films up until Creed. And you know, obviously their followers are like going, oh, let me check that out. You know what I mean? Like, he's recommending it, I'll check it out. And, you know, it's a property that has longevity, and I could see the value in doing a TV show, and why Sylvester Stallone would be, you know, open to doing this, if that makes sense. The other thing that needs to be addressed is he actually doesn't own the rights to Rocky at all. He doesn't own them. MGM do. It's one of the reasons why Rocky Balboa couldn't get made, because he was trying to do Rocky Balboa throughout the 90s, and everyone was like, no, we're not giving you money for it, blah, blah, blah. The people that had the rights, MGM, didn't want to make it. You know what I mean? Whereas if he'd owned the rights, he'd just take it to another studio or take it to an independent place and get backing for it. You know what I mean? A lot earlier than he did. And Balboa came at a certain time and a certain place. You know what I mean? And it, you know, nostalgia helped a lot for it. But, you know, he doesn't own the rights. Hence why we got Creed, because Ryan Coogler, he could have made Creed without Stallone's breast thing, but Ryan Coogler's a smart filmmaker. He knew no Rocky, no Creed. You know what I mean? He could have done it, and he even said so in an interview. You know, and that's just it. Whereas with MGM, with its financial struggles at the moment and the way things are going, Sylvester Stallone securing that legacy is probably why he's doing this. And I'd much rather see him pick the next Rocky than someone else pick the next Rocky. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. And if it fails on his terms. And if we don't like it, we've still got the legacy of the movies. You know what I mean? And they're not going to take it away from us. You know, it's there. It's how I feel about Star Wars. It's like, fair enough, I don't like 8 and 9, but you know what? I got my 6 films. You know what I mean? Yeah, I might bitch about certain new shit, etc. I still got my 6 films. You know what I mean? So
you had a question in that, and you kind of lost. I was trying to follow you, but I lost you a little bit.
Okay, fair enough. What was my question?
No, because it doesn't matter. I've lost. I had a follow up, but yeah, I was waiting for a gap.
Okay, sure.
But there was a gap. Anyways, whatever. In terms of the Rocky films and this TV show, show me something. If it pleases my eyes, I will continue to venture inwards. Yeah. That's all I say about that. Next story is Thundercats. So Thundercats is being, well, the director of the Godzilla vs. Kong, Adam Wingard, is to co-write the script, and I mean this is a franchise that people have been trying to make for years. I don't like my bets with where this is going. I heard that he wants to make it hyper real, so a hybrid between what maybe Avatar looks like and something else. I don't know how this could work. I've not seen Godzilla vs. Kong yet, so hard to judge. What do you guys think? That says it all.
Well, I'm a Thundercats fan. I like the Thundercats, and you know, I like the first 2 iterations of them. I don't know what that shit is on Cartoon Network these days, but that's an abomination.
Look, you know what? I'm watching that shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, like kids should be able to watch what they want. But as soon as I see him watching that, I was like, nah, done. Cut that off.
But no, I've not seen Godzilla versus Kong, but Adam Wingard. Yeah. You know, I read his interview on like what he'd do with Thundercats, and I could tell quite clearly he's quite passionate about those characters, and you know, he's clearly got a vision for the movie. So at this point, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I need to see more. You know what I mean? At the moment, it's just words, so I need to see more. I'm intrigued, kind of thing, to see what he does. But again, I'm saying this from a place where I've not seen Godzilla versus Kong. I pray that film's more like Skull Island than the Godzilla movies, because I've not really been impressed with either of them. But that's just me. But we'll see, man. We'll see. For more thoughts on a Thundercats movie, check out what I would do with Thundercats on the Creative Control podcast, which will be filmed soon. But anyway, go on, Neil.
So I don't know. I'm torn. Like, I am a humongous Thundercats fan. Like, the only bedspread and nightlight and like curtains that I had as a kid was Thundercats. Right? That's how you know it was serious times for that. And I've loved Thundercats, and like Sash says, them first two iterations, the original and then that kind of anime-esque styled one, they were phenomenal. That Thundercats Raw thing, nah man, you can keep that. Right? I don't care how it sounds, right? I'm very much trying to keep away from, being in a position where I turn around and say, oh, something is shit. I'm like, if I don't like it, then I don't like it, but other people may like it. It's cool. Right? Nah, Thundercats Raw, your shit. S-H-I capital T. Right?
I was watching something about that.
I mean...
Go on.
Yeah. But I'm like... I mean, in regards to... Okay, so he's been tapped up to direct the film. Cool. Right? I'm sure I've seen, like everyone, I haven't seen Godzilla versus Kong yet. I'm more than positive I'm going to enjoy this film. It's going to take a lot for me not to enjoy it. And hey, I mean, if you do whether he does a serviceable job with it or not, it's a very different beast than doing, Thundercats. Because it's like there's a solid difference to it. With Godzilla versus Kong, he's basically just adding another Jenga piece to the tower, because we've had Gareth Edwards do Godzilla, we've had Michael Daughtry do Godzilla. In recent times, we've seen enough different versions of Godzilla that him doing a take on it's not going to raise the bar, it's not going to lower the bar. But with Thundercats, that's something you need to impress with.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm sure I think he could do a good job, as long as he stays if he finds the perfect blend between the original show and the second iteration of the show. If he can find that, because that second iteration, it expanded the mythology and it drew things in. If he can do that, then he's got a nice little take ahead of him. And doing it in the style of something like Avatar, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets to.
I'm gonna just say this though, right? Even though it'll be on creative control, I'm dropping it here right now, right? If you don't get Andy Serkis to play Mumra, we got problems.
Andy Serkis, interesting. Okay. All right. On to the next, which is quite related. And so this is King Kong versus Godzilla versus King Kong. As international box office has made 121.8 million to be exact, in the worldwide box office, and which some people are saying is a road to normality in terms of box office, cinema box office. I think it's a big deal, because this time last year, it's not exactly this time last year, but Tenet came out, which was hoping to do what Godzilla and Kong is doing now, internationally, and it's yet to see how much this film will do overall, but 121 is quite big for a film in a pandemic. So, what do you guys think of that?
Good. Hell yes. I'm happy. I'm happy for it. I cannot wait for cinemas to fully reopen. I've said many times, cinema is my church. you know, and that film that is playing is my sermon. You know,
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I'm feeling mighty religious, man. Let them cinemas open up.
yeah. Again, I agree with you. I like going to cinema. Ever since lockdown has happened, I've even watched Coming to America yet. It's because I know it's there.
Mm.
There's nowhere for me to go. Really, there's no effort to go and watch it. It's not going to be out the cinema in the next few weeks, so there's no effort to go to it before it comes
there's no
out.
urgency to watch
there's no urgency whatsoever. So it's like, yeah, I'll get to it. It literally become content. I'll put it in the background while I'm doing something else. It's anyway. That's my thing. But yeah, I want to be excited about seeing a film again. That I haven't seen, and I feel I was hoping that there would be a resurgence, and this is what I'm looking for, the signs of something that's still happening. The cinema, I mean, AMC cinemas got saved this year by a bunch of interesting people. So I that has nothing to do with anything. I'm just happy for the film. Sach, what do you think? Or not?
I've lost. There we go. What was the question? Oh, about King Kong versus Godzilla in theaters and stuff. Yeah, cool. I can't wait for when theaters reopen. I can't say I'm excited for that film, but yeah, in general, yeah, go cinemas.
Okay.
I've got nothing really to add other than what you've just said.
It was just a piece that was new.
Yeah, but I am glad that's positive that people are raring to get back in the multiplex and stuff. So that's always a good sign. It'll be interesting to see how that transcends across the board to other countries and stuff. But it's a very positive note to the studios that people will spend their money in theaters rather than streaming as an option. So it's a positive sign. I know you've been quite negative about it throughout the whole pandemic, and I've always kept the fire as in I think people will come back, and that's a good example of that. But again, you know, I had my doubts when they extended lockdowns and stuff further. So we'll see how it pans out across the board in other territories and stuff, and hopefully cinema will be saved. But yeah,
my big what I thought is before this whole stock market thing happened with AMC were done. They were done, and now that they're okay, I kind of things are right for a while.
In which case, God bless those Bitcoin unsung stock market heroes that invested in GameStop and AMC theaters, because you know what, you guys are true heroes to cinema if that's the case. Because let's face it, AMC were not in good shape. So
Nope. It was a bunch of guys from Reddit. I'm not sure if Bitcoin had anything to do with it, but whatever. It's it's saved. I'm happy about it. It saves View, I guess, and a few others, and
Cineworld,
which transitions into the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is Hitman's Bodyguard has been moved. I believe it had a later date. It's been moved forward, so that's either a good sign of things to come, or they think the film's good. I don't know. Whatever it is. Did you guys watch the first Hitman's Bodyguard?
Several times.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I saw it once. I wasn't a big fan of it, like most people were.
Yeah, neither was I.
I just thought it was really cheaply made, man.
Yeah,
For an action film, it looked really cheap, and you could tell that Salma Hayek was in a green screen cell, and it had some really bad CGI, man, for stuff that was just basic and that could have been a set, and it just took me out of the movie. A lot of that took me out of the movie, and if it was someone's student film, I would have forgiven it, but this was an actual film. So
it wasn't that bad.
I don't know, man. I this is just myself. People could like boo me all they want, but I thought it was shit.
Who's gonna boo you?
I don't know. Imaginary
Well,
people.
the film was shit, or just a CGI shit.
No, the whole thing was shit. The whole thing was shit. I didn't rate it. So when I heard there was a sequel, I was like, really? Okay, fair enough. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
but who knows? Maybe the sequel's better, and maybe I might like be like, oh my god, this is amazing.
They're pushing it forward. I don't know what that means in studio speak, but that's usually a positive sign. They did that with Mission Impossible. They don't. Lots of films are being moved about this year, and so I think everyone's just trying to scramble to negotiate when people, or if people will flood back into cinemas, they want their film to be at that front end of it. So yeah, I guess.
I mean, whatever film opens, yeah, I feel like whatever film opens in cinemas, that is going to be the movie that, like that movie's going to make some dough.
Yeah,
because I'm like, you think about it. What was the last film
Tenet
that you saw in a cinema? The last film I saw. Are you sure it was Tenet?
Tenet was the last big release, wasn't it?
I mean, he's talking about film in the cinema.
Okay.
The last that I saw in the cinema, if I remember correctly, was the re-release of Akira.
Ah, right. You saw the, did you see that of Ken?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was the last film I saw in the cinema, right? And I'm like, I've been at the cinema too long.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it, as much as I just shitted on it, right? There's a possibility, right? Not a high one, but there's a possibility that I'd have sat through, like, 2-3 episodes of Thundercats Raw if it's what opened the cinema. I'm like, I would even watch something I know is shit just to be back in that environment.
Right. But
yeah, I mean, with the Hitman's wife's bodyguard, like, I enjoyed the first film. I treat that film the same way I'm treating, like, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm not expecting Academy Award level acting, directing, CGI, or anything of that level. I just want to see Ryan Reynolds crack jokes, Samuel L. Jackson swear, Salma Hayek cuss out in Spanish, and people get shot.
Yeah,
that's what I want. As long as I get to see those things, I'm like, boom, so great. Because that's the thing. It's like, with the first film, I think what I enjoyed about it was, not every film needs to be high concept. Not every film needs to be great. I have to say, I must point out what Sacha was saying about the CGI. I've always maintained that CGI does not heavily impact a film for me. It doesn't heavily impact a film. Like, if it's a film that requires CGI, then I'm like, you got the money, do what you can. But even with that, I'm like, it's not gonna hurt me if the graphics ain't
ain't top notch.
Yeah, because it's just like, I'm more, whenever I watch a film, I'm more for generally the overall experience, but really and truly, I'm like, I want the story, right? And CGI, I'm like, because I've seen what could be best, what could be the worst. I'm like, I can let CGI pass. I can let it go.
Yeah.
You know.
Excuse me.
Was that session like bullshit?
No, I was just literally sneezing. I do understand what you mean, man. The only thing I was ever looking for from that film was comedy, and I didn't get any of it. So that's what hit me the most about it. Everything else came like, oh, the CG's bad. The CG's passable. I know what those artists go through, so I'm not going to say they're bad. They're passable. Yeah, it is what it is. Good luck to it. Transitioning to our next story, Thor: Love and Thunder adds Russell Crowe.
Jarrell.
No, Maximus. No.
Like, the last couple of times I've seen Russell Crowe, he looked a little different type of Maximus. Different kind of Maximus, right?
Yeah, he's given up on his body, man. It's over. Whatever he's doing in Thor, I'm gonna love it. I hope he's doing a parody of his character in South Park.
You know what? That would be brilliant if he just turned like it was just like, oh, you know, and it was like, oh, Thor Odin's son, and he's like, yeah, bang,
yeah, fighting around the galaxy.
It's like Taika Waititi's getting all the Australian actors, everyone that's Australian's in this movie, man.
I guess while he's there, he might as well add talent.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what he's doing in it, but I just want to watch it now. I don't even care if it's based on the comic or anything. All of these array of actors are. It's just going to be hilarious. They've got Matt Damon back. They've got Sam Neill back. I don't know who else is back, but it's great. It's great. I love it. Guys, thoughts?
I'm cool with it.
Cool. Actor got a role in a superhero movie. Cool. Show me, don't tell me. That's where I'm at with these films at the minute. It's like been in development so long, man. I want to see something. I want to taste it. I want to taste it. So yeah, no, that's cool. I want to see Russell Crowe in there, but like, yeah, come on, man. Let's get films back to normal and back in the cinema, and so we can all enjoy them, and especially MCU films, because I really want to see Black Widow in a theater rather than on my TV. But we'll see. We'll see.
No, they want you to see it on your TV and charge you more for it. How much is it over here when they put films on Disney Plus?
20 or 19.99.
Do you get to keep the movie afterwards, or is that like
no? It's renting, mate.
You have access to it from the moment you purchase it.
Yeah.
Till the moment it is just available on Disney Plus for free.
Right. So if I got it, okay.
To watch it like 3 months in advance.
Right. So that's what. Right. I see. Okay. I thought it was like a one-time watch thing.
No. You can watch it as many times as you want from the moment you purchase it till.
And if I purchased that, I'd be like breaking social distancing rules. I'll be like, "Yo, guys, I got fucking Black Widow. Just come around my house. Just pay me a $5."
That's the thing, though. Why would you want to go to watch
it? Home cinema, bro. Buying popcorn, Tesco's. I'll be like, look, we got popcorn. We got Haribo. You know, so we got some funky ass hot dogs. Whatever you need.
Hey, you know what? I'm not joking. Someone out there is thinking that or has done that.
No,
someone has.
Why would you go around to someone's house to watch a TV screen?
I wouldn't. You wouldn't, but you know, someone out there has done that. I know someone out there has done that.
I don't think anyone has.
You know, no, do you know what it is? You have to think of it like this, right? Think of the people who have like a projector, and the side of their house where their garden is a white wall.
Oh, right, okay.
At night.
Yeah.
Think of the people who luckily live in a house where they've got like a
home cinema
75-inch TV with a subwoofer underneath the sofa, right? Them people to be charged. Them people making some money, boy.
I mean, that's that's what I've strived to have ever since I was first captivated by going to the cinema. It's like trying to recreate that same experience at home, which I know is a recreation. It's not the cinema. So I'm always Never mind. What were we talking about? Full Love and Thunder. Great Wrestle Crow's in it. I hope it's his parody character of the South Park of South Park. Right, the next topic is Black Adam. So this film has finally been announced. It's coming out in 2022, I believe. What do you guys make of that? I
want to see it. I want to see it.
You know what? It's weird. I want to see the film, but I believe until like I'm seeing casting announcements and stuff, but I genuinely feel like until I see the first trailer, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's solely because, you know, DC, as in Warner Brothers' handling of DC, has been, you know, messy at best. And
shambles, mate. Absolute shambles.
Messy at best. And
no. You're being too kind, man. Shambles. Shambles.
It's been so kind of... It's so all over the place almost all the time that I'm just like... You know, you generally you reach a point where you're just like, you know what? I'll just wait until I see the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, and it was, you know, I think it was a thing I saw it on social media. It was like, took over Times Square, like every screen was Black Adam, and I'll be like, that's great when you have a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Shut down Times Square for your trailer. Don't shut it down for your announcement, because yes, you have the biggest star in Hollywood as the star of your film and the title character, but a lot can go down, as we've seen in the past 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
A lot can go down between when you start doing something and when it finishes.
Yeah. I guess that's your 2 cents, man. I don't know anything about this character. All I know is that The Rock has been wanting to play him since I knew he was in the WWE.
Yeah.
that was back in 98, 99.
He's the bad guy version of Shazam.
Right. Yeah, and he's mentioned this character more times than I care to remember. He's every time Black Adam, it's coming, Black Adam, yeah, it's coming soon, it's coming next year, it's coming in 2 years, coming in 5 years, coming in 10 years, it's coming tomorrow, it's coming next week. So all I want to now is see. Okay, you've talked about it for 2 decades. I want to see exactly what makes this character worth waiting for. And that's it, really. That's all I got to say about it. I can't be excited about it because I don't know enough about him. But the fact that The Rock wants to play it, and he's been talking about it for so long, he's got to deliver now. Thoughts?
I agree with you guys. Like, cool. Save that for a trailer rather than an announcement, because announcements are like crackers over at DC and Warner Brothers. However, I am looking forward to Black Adam. I enjoyed Shazam a lot. You know, I just hope we get some Henry Cavill in there. Maybe not for Black Adam. I'm assuming Black Adam's a prequel. Neil, is it a prequel or is it a follow-up?
Yes, it's a proper prequel. Like,
so it's going back to the old Justice Society, isn't it? That's why.
Yes.
That's why. What's his face? James Bond's playing Dr. Fate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see that because Dr. Fate never takes his helmet off. Is that correct?
He can take his helmet off, but the thing is, when he has the helmet on, he's Dr. Fate. When the helmet,
that's right.
He's the person who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see it, man. I want to see it. Okay, obviously, with that being said, I don't see how Cavill could be in there, but I want Cavill to be in Shazam too. I'm sorry, it needs to happen. But should have happened in the first movie. That's my only complaint with the first movie, because there was no reason why he shouldn't have been there, other than WB just being special in the ways that they are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Rock clearly has a passion for the character and clearly wants this to be a success. And if it's as good as Shazam was, I'm in. But like Neil says, show me a trailer. I'm not impressed just yet. We want to see something more tangible to get hyped for, because at the moment it's just another scheme for another thing until it's not, you know. So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna couple my last question with this. Would you think DC goes now? Now that the Snyder Cut's been released, where do you see the landscape for DC now and Warner Brothers? Because things have calmed down at Marvel. They're gearing up for their next thing, which, I mean, I didn't particularly find WandaVision all that enticing. I thought the ending was a little weak, more than weak. And I'm not really interested in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Where do you think DC can capitalize on that?
I mean,
are you asking what we think DC should do, or are you thinking where we think DC are going with?
Yeah, where do you think they're going with it? Because I see no roadmap for them. They're just like throwing stuff at the wall.
Neil, you mind if I take this one?
Go ahead, start.
Okay, so yeah, I think DC are still throwing stuff at the wall. I don't think they know what they're fucking doing. Like, they've always not known what they're doing. I think if they've learnt from their mistakes, it will all depend on this Flash film, because the Flash film is the film that I don't really want to see now. Now that they're choosing Flashpoint as a way to restart this universe and this world into something else, they're pressing the reset button with the Flash, which annoys me now. Before, I didn't give a shit, but in the past 2 weeks, my worldview on the DCU has changed, dramatically so, because even though Warner Brothers have never had a plan and didn't know what they were doing and throwing everything to the wall to see what sticks, Zack Snyder had a plan. Justice League, the Snyder Cut, clearly showed that he was doing his own shit. You know what I mean? He was doing his own shit that made sense, that made, you know what I mean? Like that film was his masterpiece, man. It was everything everyone says it was. It was good. It was so damn good. And then the last, it teased what the future could be with future Justice League movies, or where the universe was headed, if that makes sense. Yeah. And as a fan of comic books, I want to see that film. All right, I need that film. That's the roadmap. It was up there when we saw Thanos. It's up there for me as when Marvel showed Thanos for the first time in Avengers, where we're like, oh my God, we're going there? What's the roadmap to this? The difference is that obviously Marvel built it up slowly with movies leading towards Justice League. So when you get the 4-hour cut of Justice League, they had to give you backstories to the characters that we never met before. And they did that, and they did that well. They did that really well. When it came to the end fight, you gave a shit about the characters. And that was a hard feat to pull off, considering where I was with this movie going in. And Zack Zack Snyder had a plan with these characters, and he has to work with these knuckleheads that don't know about comic books or IP or the IP and how they should be treated with. And yeah, sure, Zack Snyder's style has been very serious and not very comedic with these films. But you know what? Justice League showed me that the Flash is that guy. That showed me that Cyborg can be that guy when paired up with someone. Showed me that Aquaman's that guy, and I didn't mind the Aquaman standalone movie. I think personally, moving forward, they need Zack Snyder. They need his plan, and they need to use Justice League, the Snyder Cut, as the jump-off point for everyone's standalone movies to build towards the next Justice League, the way Marvel do with their phases, because they fucked up by not doing that in the first place, but they could learn from their lessons by making the next Justice League something to be hyped up, like fucking Infinity War levels, because boy, he had a roadmap, and I want to see that roadmap. Okay, but has Warner Brothers learnt those lessons? No, I think they're still going to continue to throw stuff to the wall until it sticks. Who knows what's going on with Patterson's one? Who knows what's going on with this one and that one? They're just whatever sells. For them, it's kind of like whatever sells. You know, there's no one in. The thing is, Zack Snyder's just the director. He's just a component towards these movies. He needs a producing partner that could shield him from the studio heads. You know, or he needs a studio head because this is the thing. Kevin Feige was in charge of the studio. He was a studio head. You know what I mean? He hired the directors. You know what I mean? And that's what Warner Brothers / DC needs. You know what I mean? They need a studio head with a vision that knows these IPs. And I know not Kevin Sujihara. Was that the old one?
The Hamada.
I think it's Hamada. What's his name?
Walter
Hamada is the current guy in charge of the DC properties, and I know he says he's a fan, etc. And that's great. You got Joker made, etc. But you're throwing everything to the wall and seeing what fits. Give us a roadmap. Give us a plan. Acknowledge that the Snyder Cut wasn't a fluke, because it was the most downloaded thing, and still one of the most watched things currently at the moment. And the people want. It's a case of, this is what the people want, give it to them. You know what I mean? Just fucking give it to them, because this Flash movie is going to ruin everything. You know what I mean? No matter how good your intentions are with it, in like, we're going to make a cool Flashpoint movie. Now we've seen what we could have had. It's like, I don't want that movie. You know what I mean? I don't care Michael Keaton's in it or not or whatnot. It's like, just give me a Flash origin movie that continues off the themes of Justice League, and you know what I mean? Like let's do Flashpoint for something else, you know, and let's just give us cool DC films, because we're at a point where that universe can be saved. All I want from that, you know what? If they wanted to make my day, they announce Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill and give us a decent Superman movie, and Batman with Ben Affleck, The Flash as an origin movie, and you know what I mean? I don't know what else they got, Shazam and all of that stuff, but Justice League 2, announce that as a Zack Snyder film. I don't necessarily need Zack Snyder to be the director of Man of Steel 2. That can be someone else, and probably do Superman a little bit better if some people didn't like Man of Steel, etc. But give us more Henry Cavill as Superman. But you know what I mean? Zack Snyder, in terms of Justice League, keep him and keep his story arcs, man, and have that be the overall thing. Because, my God, that movie did so much for people like me that hated the original cut, that hated BVS with a passion, you know? And hell, I ate humble pie on a podcast, you know, over this shit. And you know what? I honestly think Warner Brothers, they need to wake up. They really need to wake up and realize what they have and what their audience wants. Because at the moment, they still haven't learned a fucking thing. I mean, Marvel, fair enough, like WandaVision wasn't for everyone. But you know what? It was for a lot of people. And second of all, that's fine. We've got other Marvel films coming out that we are more into. You know what I mean? It wasn't a huge misstep. for them. It'll take for Marvel. They're at the point where
I don't even think it was a misstep. A lot of females like that show.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
And so I'm not saying it's film exclusive, but people that I've talked to that, oh my god, I'm watching this. You're watching WandaVision. You're watching Marvel stuff.
Yeah. But that just shows how good a producer Kevin Feige is. He knows what the thing is and how it fits into the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like they need that. They need that at Warner Brothers. They have failed this for decades now, 2 decades now. You know what I mean? Since the superhero comic book movie, they should have been leading the charge with this. You know what I mean? They had all their IPs under one roof. Fair enough, you got the John Peters situation, but like Green Lantern should have been the movie that everyone looked at and just been like, holy shit, Green Lantern, have you seen that? That should have been. Look, I like Green Lantern. Okay, Jon Stewart's my Green Lantern. And I like I like Hal Jordan as well. But growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was all about Jon Stewart. And the thing is, Green Lantern should have been what Star Wars. It should have been like the Star Wars of superhero movies. It should have been like the movie that everyone would be like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? And it really wasn't. It was just comic book movie of the week. You know what I mean? It stunk, and that was
without the appeal.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing was, that movie should have been the spark that ignited the fire. You know what I mean? But it's an example of Warner Brothers not knowing what they've got. You know what I mean? I still live in hope for a decent Green Lantern movie, but you know what I mean? I don't think that's going to happen under this regime. I don't see that, because they're still like, oh, we need to do Green Lantern Corps. That's what they're talking about. It should be a team-up movie. It's like, no, it shouldn't. Just do it as a standalone to open up the universe. You know what I mean? Like, and build upon it. Do a trilogy. Make people care about the fucking character and just fucking do it. But, like, they don't know what they're doing, man. And it upsets me that they have all these IPs and no leadership that actually knows what the fuck they're doing. And it's a mistake they've made since the 1980s. You know what I mean? Since the dawn of time of superhero movies. I mean, who fucking owns Superman and then gives it to Hungarian producers? You know what I mean? It's like, like when you look at that story about how original Christopher Reeve Superman got made, Warner Brothers are freaking dumb. You know what I mean? They were dumb then. They're still dumb now. You know, like sort your shit out. Get your house in order, man. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? But if it wasn't for dumb moves like that, we wouldn't have the genre in the first place, I guess. So that's the other argument there. But they need to learn from their mistakes, and they keep not learning. You know what I mean? They just keep not learning. So eventually something's got to give, but I just hope. I know the recent CEO of Warner Brothers, and something, I didn't look up her name. Sorry if I'm like being unprepared here, but like she recently said no. She recently said no. We're not moving forward with the Snyder Cut as canon. We're moving forward with what we've set out, and it's like, well, sorry, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You know what I mean? You've just shown the world what people want, and now you're going to snatch it from us. You need to renegotiate contracts, love. You need to get the Batman into, you know what I mean, into an actual film. You need to get Man of Steel 2 up and running. That's what the focus should be. You know what I mean? Because, look, I guarantee you, if the news said Henry Cavill is returned to Superman in Man of Steel 2, the whole internet will break. You know what I mean? It'll be one of those things, because people will be talking again, because one, they'll know that Justice League 2 might be around the corner, and two, you know what I mean, it's something people could get hyped again and actually give a shit, because at the moment, it's kind of like how Joe feels after watching BVS. Why should I watch this? You know what I mean? why should I watch this? Why should I invest my time in these characters if they're just gonna flashpoint it and then give me a Joker film and you know what I mean, Rob Patterson's Batman and shit like that? Why should I give a shit? You know what I mean? It dilutes shit. You know what I mean? BVS was a piece of shit, but then when you see what Zack Snyder had to work with, you know what I mean? And he fought battles for that movie. You know what I mean? For that movie to try and make it coherent and make it work. And to be quite honest, after watching the extended cut, it's not a great film, but it's a lot more coherent. You know what I mean? It's a lot more coherent than what it was. And I can see what he was trying to do under the circumstances. But if Justice League wasn't as good as it was, you know what I mean? I'd probably be like, yeah, fuck Warner Brothers. They need to reboot. But no, Snyder Cut made me reevaluate it and be like, no, they don't need to reboot. They need to look at what they have and make a plan now and fucking follow what Zack started, to be honest, and improve on it. But you know what I mean? Like, what do I know? I'm just a dude on a microphone. But anyway, Neil, I went on longer than I thought that I would, but yeah, over to you, buddy.
Well,
just to interrupt you, I need to cut in 10 minutes, so keep it short.
I'll keep it. For me, all right. What I believe Warner Brothers are going to do is, simply put, they're going to continue what they're doing. That the Snyder Cut is, because they're not going to cut out, because Snyder Cut is very simply, if it wasn't for HBO Max, we would never have seen the Snyder Cut. And I say this, you know, I have been 100% flag bearer Zack Snyder from the moment he was announced for Man of Steel. I've never lost faith in him. I've said I can't how many times I said on Zedos Gang, on Creative Control, he knew what he was doing. From day one, he knew what he was doing. But I think if I was in charge of Warner Brothers, I'd tell you, right, Snyder Cut would have never seen the light of day. And I say because what all it's done is it's proved that Warner Brothers were at fault, that they were the ones who made the mistake. It wasn't creative differences. It wasn't, oh, you know, he suffered a tragedy and couldn't go. No. You lot couldn't bear what he was doing and got rid of him, and this is the result, right? And also, it's done is it's made the internet, who already feel like who already have too much power, it's made them jump up and down like, we got the Snyder Cut released, so now we're gonna bang on and get the Snyderverse reinstated. And I'm like, it's not gonna get reinstated, right? They've already got their plans in place. They've already got the things. They're not gonna change things that they've started shooting. They're not gonna change the scripts that have been finished. Aren't gonna suddenly change to reincorporate.
Too much money has been invested into what they're doing currently. Yeah,
in that, right? And I think people are really forgetting Warner Brothers really and truly ain't made nothing. They ain't made no heavy financial investment from the Snyder Cut, right? That was literally just to get basically, you know, it'd be equivalent of cinema is to get bums on seats. This was literally just get people getting HBO Max. This was just a North America thing. That's why, you know, we got it on Now TV and Sky Movies for free. Right? Essentially, if you already have those platforms, you got it for free. You didn't have to pay nothing extra. So I think they'll just continue doing what they're doing. And that's about it. I mean, really and truly, I mean, if they were going to continue the Snyderverse, I would like, you know what? Just make a bunch of animated movies on HBO Max. Get the voice cast from the films to reprise their roles, and then you can do it as, you know, like one movie every 3 months to wrap it up. Just, you know, so you'll do the Batman and you'll do like, so we already got Aquaman and the Flash is being made, so you'll just do whatever was intended for the Batman, and then maybe you do your Justice League 2 and your Justice League 3 and done. Just do that, right? You've got your film world in it, your live action film world is what it is. You've got your animated Snyderverse is what it is, and done. Right.
Yeah, but you guys said a lot on that, which is why I kept the subject for last. I do kind of agree with you, and I guess my 2 cents about it is that it seemed there doesn't seem to be, as you said, there doesn't seem to be any structure. They're just throwing things at the wall. Oh, that sticks. Let's go full throttle that way. I mean, everything I'm hearing about this Robert Pattinson film is making me go, this doesn't seem like a good idea. Look, be that as it may, the Snyder Cut's been released. There's a fan base for it now, and Warner Brothers have just made their pool a lot more harder to reorganize their troops in terms of like Marvel have everything's unified. The TV shows feed into the films and vice versa, and so looking at Warner Brothers, it just looks like a bad mess.
You know what they know? Like, sorry to cut.
No, I'm done.
You know what it is? Here's what it is. I feel like the problems came in exactly what Sash said. Warner's had all of these characters, the entire library of characters from the jump. That's been their problem. Because they've had access to all these characters, they've never had to really think, okay, what's the creative way we can do this? What's the creative way we can do that? Think with Marvel, the MCU came, you think how it came about, right? When the MCU began, right? Whether we're saying officially began or whether it unofficially began with Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., right? When that film came out, they had access to Iron Man, Captain America, partial access to the Hulk, right? Thor, they had all the characters that basically most people either didn't know about or didn't care about. That's how the MCU came about. If Warner Brothers were in that position where they only had Aquaman and Cyborg and, the
Flash,
if they only had those characters, then you would have got a DCEU you could rave about, right? Because it would have been like, you've got to work so much harder because you only have this one and this one, right? When you've got the whole library, trust me, if Marvel started with their entire back catalogue of characters, there's no Guardians of the Galaxy. There's no Ant-Man, right? You think some of the other choices, Doctor Strange, bye.
Yeah.
Right? Black Panther, probably not.
Because the first movie out the gate would have been Spider-Man, followed by X-Men. X-Men and Spider-Man straight up, because they're the crown jewels, straight up the crown jewels. And you're right, you wouldn't get Ant-Man, because Ant-Man and the Wasp just would have been in Avengers. They wouldn't have been. That almost happened as well, because there was a draft of the Avengers with Ant-Man and the Wasp in. Yeah, because if you look at the Avengers, it's basically a take on the Ultimates. So they just would have done what with those characters, how they were portrayed in the Ultimates, and just bang, put it there. But you're right, man. You're absolutely right there with how Marvel have handled it. They manage. Look, Marvel have managed to make Z-list characters into the mainstream. Like no one would be talking about Vision and Wanda. No one would be talking about Vision and Wanda. And they got a damn fucking show that has reached like a mass audience. I'm glad that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier are getting their their type. You know, do you honestly think that Sam as the Falcon would have? You know what? After watching that show, they could have a movie.
Headlined a TV show.
Yeah, they could have a movie easily. You know, a spin-off movie easily, and that show's good so far. The first 2 episodes are good. So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for this return of such. I don't think people will see the gap that are viewing this, but there's definitely a gap. Thanks Neil, thanks Sach. Any last minute news or anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Listen to as many Zedos Gang podcasts as there is, and listen to Creative Control.
Cheers, man. Sach, anything to add?
Yeah, if you guys are into video games, especially retro video games, check out my company AntStream. They do retro gaming. It's kind of like Netflix for video games. You can stream like old arcade classics and stuff, and just go on the website, check them out, and it's free.
It's like Stadia, but better.
A lot better.
I shouldn't really say that to a platform that I'm about to be posting on, but what the hell?
What a disrespect.
Okay, and that's it. What's my sign off? I don't really have a sign off. That's been the Zedos Gang podcast, and we're out.
Peace.
Go on, do it. Come on.
I am the man that killed Jamie Lannister.